Okay, so we got a quick video. This is what I've done with that little suitcase drum set that I found at a pawn shop recently. So I've added a couple of toms from the kit that was sent to me by a viewer. This Mapex Mars Pro series kit. This is from the 1990s. That snare didn't come with this kit, but he did have another snare that he sent along with it. That was very generous. The guy's name is Sig. Thank you again, Sig, for that set. I have not, my problem with it was I did not have enough cymbal stands to really pair with it to get it going alongside my other one. But for this setup right here, this is going to be pretty much perfect. This is a bit large for the space as well, and this is a bit smaller, so I have two different choices of kind of drum sounds now. Now this one's the open, big open rock style kit with a lot of ring to the toms and so forth, and a big, 24-inch bass drum with a big boom on the bottom. Because the bass drum, if you want to call it that, the suitcase, because it is not really all that loud, it does have a good tone. Now I changed the pedal. That was the pedal I got with it, and it had a real soft felt beater. This beater though is a lot more solid behind the piece of felt, and it gives it more of a little bit more of an authoritative hit there. Also, I went ahead and made my own rings with t-shirt material. So I covered this in t-shirt, then came in with scissors and cut out a spot. Now I did this so that I can use brushes on this, but also there's no real ring to that. And the same on these toms. I did the same thing, covered in t-shirt material. As a matter of fact, one large t-shirt took care of all three of these drums and left me enough material to also give me a little bit of a mute on these cymbals as well, which I can push up out of the way, or I can drop down depending on what I'm doing. But I'll give you a little demonstration here in a minute of the different sounds. But this one, same story here. So I can actually, if I'm using a stick, I can actually drop this down and get even more muting. So I can go brush or stick depending on what I want to do. Like for instance, if I use a stick, now I can get that sound, or I can push that back and get. A little bit different. And also with the brushes, of course you can get a little bit more of a hit with the brush. And you can get more of that traditional kind of brushed sound on the head, whereas you can't get that same tone obviously with that kind of t-shirt mute. It's a little too muted when you're using brushes, so I wanted the best of both worlds, so that's what that's all about. Cut these to get a nice, I just want a nice plonky kind of muffled sound, a little bit Ringo Starr-ish. Really muffled down. Now I experimented with taking the bottom heads off also, and having the full t-shirt on there without the cutouts, and it was really muffled down like that. And it probably would have been good close mic'd if I had enough mics, which I do have enough mics if I wanted to close mic every one of the drums. Could do that, but I didn't want to have to do that, so instead of that, I decided to cut the holes, put the resonant heads back on the bottom, and if I feel like I need more muffling than that going forward, I can use various other things like tape and tape up the bottom heads a little bit more, to kind of bring that back down. And I can also really bring it down on these hi-hats too. Like, versus so subtle difference, but it's there. And then I've got a couple of different I think this is a really good setup. I really like what I've done here. Honestly, I don't know why I didn't think of this before. This is genius. This bass drum, it sounds fantastic here in the room. I don't know how it's going to come across, but it just sounds so punchy and good and in the pocket. It's just, yeah, I can't get over how good it sounds. And if with brushwork, back to the sticks for a second. I'll put the muffle on the snare drum. So here's without the muffle on the snare. Actually, no muffle on the snare, and I'm going to leave the muffle off the hi-hat for a second here. Okay. Oh, also my snare, it has one of the fine tuner strainers on it, so I can really tune in the snare sound I want. I kind of like this with them a little bit loose, but I can tighten them up quite a bit too if I want. Okay, so now I'm going to put the strainer, I'm going to lift my muffle up onto the snare and onto the hi-hats, and I'm going to reset my snares where I want them there, and then we've got this sort of sound. So yeah, man, very fun little kit. I think for the 80 bucks that I gave for, you know, the parts and pieces that I found at the pawn shop, this ended up being a really, really super cool deal. And, you know, again, the best thing about this is look how small it is. You know, I've got a bass, snare, a couple of toms, so that's a 4-piece kit, but I've got, you know, I've got my traditional ride, crash, and hi-hats in addition to, you know, I put these on here to get a little bit different sound there. I've got some Got some blocks here to choose from. And again, with the different mutes that I put on the various things here, it gives me some choices. The snare drum, particularly, is just really versatile for a lot of different things, a lot of different situations, and really small. Look at the footprint of the thing is not that big. It does certainly seem a little smaller. So, but anyway, so now I've got kind of choices that of two different kits down here. If I want to do recordings, tracks, you know, I can just jump on whatever I deem appropriate. This thing right here too is just so loud, you know, in your face. It sounds fantastic, but it's just really loud and it's a lot. You know, this is a lot of kit, really. If I want to kind of jam a bit late, you know, that's obviously the one I'm going to go for. It's more muted, it's toned down, and man, I'm just so happy with it. So happy. What a purchase. What a purchase. I did go ahead and use this LP claw. I'm going to get it mic'd up. But what I'm thinking about doing here is doing I'm going to do a close mic on the snare, a close mic on the bass drum, and then I'm going to do one overhead of probably a large diaphragm condenser, maybe something like that. Maybe throw an AKG on there, just kind of up over the shoulder type, and just get everything else, get the sparkle of the cymbals, and mix that in appropriately. So yeah, man, very fun stuff, and I couldn't be happier. Let me know what you think down below. Is this something that you would like to try to do yourself? I mean, all they've done here is they've taken an old, you know, they've gone to Goodwill probably, or an estate sale or something, or flea market, what have you, and bought an old suitcase. This is just a nothing suitcase, an old Samsonite or whatever, you know, probably from the late 60s, mid 60s to early 70s perhaps. I don't know exactly when that would have come out, but probably mid 60s when those Samsonites. And this thing sounds so good. Again, you could put different beaters on there and get slightly different sounds with that. When I first put this beater on, it was a bit, I wanted to try to find the kind of perfect middle ground between really hard tone and a softer tone. So I added this piece of tape. I might add one more piece of tape and just dull it down ever so slightly more. Just put maybe one more piece of tape on top of that and just get it a tad bit softer. But other than that, man, I think it just sounds phenomenal. What do you think?
1, 2, ready, and